Well, let me see if I can finish up my discussion of hell. Where does it fit in? It's not a very pleasant subject, but it's a fascinating subject. And I left off the first part of this discussion talking about how I think people, souls that end up in hell, obviously are truly evil. And evil is, remember, it's not a mistake, it's not error, because we all make mistakes. But evil is the conscious, deliberate, knowing choice of the wrong way, of the destructive way, and the enjoyment of that choice, and the repeated assertion of that choice as canceling out, as neutralizing the proper function of the cosmos. The cosmos is the Greek word for order. There's a natural arrangement in things. They're supposed to have a certain structure, an anatomy that makes the world a well-running place for the creatures that live in it. Well, an evil person really enjoys cracking that hood and getting in there with his wrench and messing up everything. What would make a person do that? This is a good place to resume that discussion because it's an obvious question. Why would a person want to do that? And I'm not sure we can ever really understand the answer, but my best way of phrasing this is that there is that within us, and some people just give into it that says, I can do this better. God is supposed to be in control of this, but I'm not even sure there is a God. If there is, he's pretty stupid or incompetent because he really made a mess of it. So you know what? I can do a better job. I all I need is power, and that's the key word. That's the door that opens the way to evil is power. The libido dominandi, the lust for dominating, for power. Uh, it's the ugliest side of human nature. And you see it in practically all of us, I'm afraid, and it really is an unsightly prospect when it creeps into our behavior, our love of having power over other people. And what this really is, or what it becomes in evil souls, is the desire to take God's creation, which is all messed up, and redo it. Because we are now occupying God's throne, which in the minds of the atheist, of course, is vacant anyway, so might as well apply for the position. Um, People who want to overhaul entire societies sometimes because they're just not working well. Inevitably, these people speak of themselves and of their project as beneficial to all humanity. I know I can make people happy. Right now, life sucks, but it was just very badly designed. And I somehow or other, I guess I'm a genius. I know how I can set all of this right. So I'm going to get in there and redo everything and make everybody happier, and everything will function much more smoothly. Only, there are some people who don't want others to be happy and they're in my way. So, of course, I'm going to have to remove them. And there's still a few more people. And once I've removed them, well, the people that I did this for, they're complaining and griping because they're just not getting into the spirit of the thing. I need to, they're programmed by their previous habits of life. So I need to get in there and just erase all that. And if these stupid people would just live in the little ant farm that I've made for them to crawl around in, I know they would be happy because I've worked this all out. So I just have to get them to cooperate. This has created some of the most hideous human beings in the history of the earth, or even beyond human imagination. I know that we're supposed to mention the name Hitler first and foremost, and he's right up there, yeah, top three. But I think I'd rate Stalin and his creation, Mao, even higher. If you're going to award the prize to the person who piled up the highest body count, you know, I guess communism outranks fascism. But really, how do you is killing 50 million people really that much worse than murdering 5,000? It's, of course, when we're talking about matters of the soul, that corruption, once it gets in there, that's hellacious no matter what kind of practical price human society has to pay for it. So let's just kind of leave aside the body count and let's focus on that evil. Satan, again, in Milton's Paradise Lost, is an excellent example of this. Satan believes in God. I mean, he was God's chief angel. He knows that God exists, but he did not believe in God's superiority. He just knew that he deserved to be sitting up there at least as high as God. And when we have that kind of mindset, that's when we rebel and we start making life a living hell for everybody else. If God made us and God is all good, then how could he make us with that horrible, horrible libido dominandi inside of us? Well, I don't know that that question can be answered, but I guess part of the answer is that we have free will. How could we be good if we didn't have the freedom to choose between good and bad? And unfortunately, there are those who become so twisted that the choice they make is to set themselves above the very power that gave them the faculty of choice and gave them the natural discernment to choose between right and wrong. It's a kind of insanity, I guess. I don't know how you really draw the line between evil and insanity. The Stoics and Socrates, what was it that Socrates said? Passa psyche stereta tes aletheas. I think I got that a little messed up, but every soul, I'd left out the unwilling part. No soul chooses against truth unwillingly. Every soul willingly chooses the truth unless it makes a mistake. It may seem kind of a naive belief, but maybe people are well, no, let's not say that people who turn evil are just misled, though, because that's sorry, Socrates, but if that's what he meant, that kind of argues against the whole tenor of this discussion. I think that we have to say that evil people, again, have made a conscious, deliberate choice in their. If they're insane, then they're willfully insane. Now, evil is not reality, okay? Evil is maybe this is getting back to Socrates' idea. I don't know that we'll ever know exactly what he intended to say, but maybe his idea is just that that if you choose evil, you choose against reality, and your choice is kind of self-annihilating. You've taken yourself out of the picture. So how can that be called a willful choice? It's kind of a suicide. It's spiritual suicide. Well, from the point of view of faith, or from a Christian point of view, I think we should embrace that when we try to think about the punishments of hell. What's the point of even having punishments in hell, since they're already outside of heaven, these damned spirits? And so is God just taking it out on them over and over again for all of time because they betrayed him and they got off the plan? I think it's more productive to think of hell as and the punishments of hell as non-existence. What would it be like to be in hell and be punished forever? Here's my idea. I think what you have precisely is yourself and other people like you. What you do not have is access to God's reality, to higher truth, to really to any truth. You have yourself, your own bundle of lies. And again, maybe other people like you. Can you imagine Hitler Mao and Stalin in hell together, locked in a room forever, and nothing else and no one else with them. And they're all, you know, I'm not happy. This isn't arranged the way I want. You go do that. Wait, what are you doing? Oh, Mao and Hitler have double teamed me, and now I'm locked in the closet. Oh, Mao, let me out of here. I can make you a better deal than Hitler did. Now the two of us are against him, and we're going to lock him out. But Mao betrayed me, so I'm going to put him under the table and kick the crap out of him. And can you imagine that going on forever? And these three megalomaniac lunatics would be locked in that room forever, getting nowhere and doing nothing and tearing down all the mad enterprises that each one of them would conceive of. That's Dantesque. That's worthy of Dante. And in fact, if you read the Divine Comedy, if you read the Inferno, the first part of it, and you really look at it closely, this is the way most of the punishments in Dante's Inferno are constructed. The people, for instance, the baratori, the barators, the judges who sold decisions to the highest bidder, who sold their verdicts, they're boiling away in pitch forever and ever, and they're guarded by these canine-like devils with pitchforks who stick them every time they try to climb out of the pitch. But they're also very clever, these barators, so sometimes they can talk the demon guards out of watching them closely, and they can get out of the pitch for just a few minutes, but it's never very long before they're forced back in. And their relationship with these idiot devils is itself a punishment, because these were the wisest, most educated people of their generation, and now for all eternity they're matching wits with virtual animals who have physical power over them. And if they win, what do they get? A few seconds when they're not boiling in this filthy, squalid pitch, but they filled their lives, they filled their hearts and souls with this garbage that they chose with the money that they acquired by betraying truth. Or think of the traitors down near the center of hell as you get close to Judas. They're not burning at all. They're frozen. It's a deep freeze. And I've often thought about how appropriate that is, because when you're a traitor and the truth means nothing to you, then every word that comes out of your mouth might as well freeze on its transit to another ear, because it's not going to make it. The truth dies. You can't communicate with anybody. So Dante knew, I think, that spirits who damned spirits in hell, in that place of outer darkness, have a non-existence, and the essential punishment is God doesn't need to do anything else to them. All that needs to be done is to give them themselves and the kind of architecture that their own corrupt inside-out character has designed. And it's a non-existence. I've said this in the first part, but I can't do better, I think, than just wrap up repeating this. It's a nullity. It's an eternal existence in no time at all, because nothing happens, because nothing can be done, because there is no spirit here, there's no order, there's no intelligent plan that's possible. It's all just ego turned upon itself in a kind of circular firing squad and annihilating itself over and over again. So, yeah, in a sense, God has not created a universe that has evil in it, ultimately, and evil ceases to exist in the end of time when heaven prevails. All this other stuff, this hell around the outer rim of creation, in a profound sense, it's not really there. And the damned souls who occupy it are living forever in their own nothing.